Right, good morning from Budleigh Salterton. Managed to get everything up and running, so we can now get a bit of commentary. Our feature game today is on Lawn 7. Samir Patel and Debbie Lines playing Stephen Morgan and Stuart Lawrence. So the Americans hit in on a corner 2 opening third turn and made a good leave. Samir hit the long shot down the boundary and went 4 back, and this is now 5th turn. So Stephen Morgan lifting the ball at the peg and taking the long lift. Samir's been really good this tournament. He had a fabulous win against Tom yesterday after Tom missed a long peg out and pegged one ball out with Samir on 1 and 3. And it's a really good performance both physically and tactically by Samir. So managed to get Great Britain back to 5-all overnight. 2 singles still in progress from day 1. And 3 doubles this morning will be really critical. Inside, yeah. So see what Debbie can do. Hasn't been on top form so far, Debbie. Made a few errors. So it'd be good to get a nice solid ball to the peg under her belt here. Lawns this afternoon I think are going to have a reasonable amount of pace on the brown areas. There's been no rain overnight and we started with a little bit of sunshine. It's now clouded over. But yeah, if it picks up again to 24, 25 degrees, I think they're going to be just interesting in patches this afternoon. The position in the 2 peg down games are Stephen Morgan is game up against Stephen Mulliner, but in game 2 Stephen's 4 and peg against hoop 4, so he's in a strong position to equalise there. And in the other singles, Jack Good against Stuart Lawrence. Jack's game up, but Stuart's 4 back and peg v3 and 2 back, so Stuart's in a good position to equalise at 1-all there. So 5-all in the test match in total and 2 very well balanced singles matches means these doubles are absolutely crucial. That's just been overhit and it has just stayed on, I think. Surprised Debbie played that shot. I thought she'd play a takeoff there because where she's put yellow is really not a good place to have yellow. Now, you can be aggressive here if you want and just take off in front of the hoop, or you can be defensive and roll blue down between the hoop and the corner, trying to get in front. So, opting for the defensive option. Had a really good opportunity with that rush over to the west boundary. Start of this turn, she'd be anticipating being within 2 or 3 yards of hoop 1 rather than 14 yards away. Samir's come on maybe saying, look, is it possible to play a thick takeoff wiring blue from yellow, trying to get in front of the hoop? And I think that's a good thing for a partner to point out, because it is quite a big wire. It's possibly 2.5 feet wide. So yeah, thick takeoff, trying to move that, get in front of the hoop. If you don't get in front, hopefully find a wired spot on the north boundary that you can shoot off. And I think that's a better option here than just rolling blue down to the corner. You're more likely to get in front of the hoop. And providing you get this wire on the takeoff, it's quite a good leave. It looks like they've aborted that plan and Samir's now suggesting down there. I do like this stick takeoff option, just because he's so much more likely to get in front of the hoop. There's another legitimate choice here, which is don't approach the hoop. just croquet blue to wired and go off the north boundary wired. And there's every chance that blue could corner. Blue to corner 3 is completely legitimate against that leave. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to get blue wired, but also increase the distance just in case Debbie doesn't get the wire correctly. And making sure red's in a position so you can hammer off the north boundary to a wired spot as well. So disappointing not to have any attempt to get in front of hoop 1, but the leave should be quite strong. Blue looks okay there. Just got to make sure it's open on corner 4. You don't want to give a lift away. But it looks like it is. And so Samir needs to go to the north boundary and give Debbie a spot. Ideally, maybe 6 or 9 inches wide, show her both sides of it, and make sure she aims at the middle of it. Dribbled, I'd have just hit that hard off north boundary, I think. Always chance to hill open. So I'm not sure, blue may have something to shoot at. I'm very tempted to play blue to corner 3 here. Stuart Lawrence going on. And you can play a wide join, but it's very easy, makes it much easier for the British pair to make a good leave. Just go between the peg and hoop 3 and get to corner 3. My preferred option here. So Debbie can make a really powerful leave here. There is still the opportunity for Samir to play and make something a little bit more grey. And when I say grey, I mean something that doesn't necessarily give Debbie an easy chance next turn and encourages the Americans to corner again. And the reason Samir would play is that if Debbie plays, she's sort of leaving partner in the middle of the lawn, which isn't a good place for your leave. So here Samir could play the yellow, hit the red, leave it on the north boundary, take off to the Americans' balls, put one of them to hoop 1, between hoop 1 and the corner, and put the other one halfway up the east boundary, a couple of yards in lawn, and that's quite a strong leave. You can leave a rush to corner 3 at the end of the turn, and there's nowhere nice for the Americans to go then. And the ability to sort of think about these patterns before you go on the lawn, and most people just have gone on and go, well, we want red to play, so red will play. By the time they've hit it to hoop 2, they can't really put it anywhere defensive anymore. So good decision to play the yellow, in my opinion. Samir's had some lawn time, so he shouldn't be too scared about this very long takeoff. I prefer leaving red on the boundary here, because you can leave a rush to corner 3 more easily. So I'd be taking off from the right hand side. He hates that. Has it hit the peg? Where's it gone? It's gone into hoop 6, or possibly into penultimate. So he shouldn't be anywhere near that hoop. He's got 2 balls he can take off to. So if hoop 6 is in the way of going to one of them, you can just go to the other one. It doesn't really matter which ball you go to first. They're both on hoop 1. And I think you probably need to give up the innings here. Yellow towards corner 3 area. But I think blue will play at black, so that's towards corner 4. So if you wanted to, you can justify going to corner 2 here. It's a lot more aggressive, but the Americans have got a missable roquet. It's about 8 yards, so corner 2 is definitely playable. It's a lot quicker in corner 2 as well, so taking off behind the ball in the corner is quite tricky from 2 or 3 yards away, and it slopes off the nearer you get to the corner. He's going for the more defensive of the two options. And I guess from this point of view, if blue does miss black, yellow can shoot back at red. But yeah, that's a poor turn, losing the innings there. And yeah, he hasn't been able to get to the corner either. So maybe corner 2 was fractionally better there. Get the Americans to, first of all, hit their 8-yarder, and then take off all the way up to corner 2. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more I prefer corner 2. There's an argument that blue doesn't even have to shoot at black now. It could just go a yard away from black on the south boundary. Good shot in the middle. And he'll just roll over to hoop 1 and leave a guarded corner. And I would expect red to corner. And then it's not a difficult pickup. So even though he's hit, I'd still almost prefer to be in corner 2. I just think this is wrong. You've got no need to play this sequence of shots. Just roll to corner 1, leave a rush to hoop 1. That's the turn. This is doing far too much. So good length from Stewart. He's got nice and close to yellow. I don't know what he's going to do with it. You don't want to send it to hoop 1 because then you're forcing. I suppose you could send it to hoop 1. Hoop 1 is obviously much closer to black than where yellow is already. I just think he's playing a lot of semi-difficult shots needlessly here. So we're assuming he's going to send this down towards hoop 1 because it's the 4-back ball. They're trying to force that to play. I honestly think if you just rolled corner 1 and left that rush, there's every chance that the British would have cornered. Another very big shot coming up. He's already had a 25+ yard takeoff. And he sent yellow pretty well. It's a little bit too far east, so it's got a much shorter shot at black than it should have. And he's not got close enough to black for me to think, close enough to the red, for me to think this is 100%. So a lot of pressure on this. He's put a ball at red's hoop, and he's got a 4-yarder at red. It might be 5. Yeah, just nicks that. So he's got away with that overly difficult set of shots, and all he's achieved is moving yellow to hoop 1. If the British are going to shoot, yellow's now got a shorter shot. and red's still quite close to corner 2. Oh, that's finished on the wire of hoop 4 possibly. Can he get back to partner? It's entirely possible yellow's going to have a 14-yarder after this. And that's really quite poor. Yeah, rolling into the corner 1, the shortest shot the Brits had was about a 22, 23-yarder. So the Americans now 6 yards apart. Maybe 5. Yellow's got about a 15-yarder at blue, or it's just got an opportunity to play to either corner 3 or corner 1. Don't think there's a clearly right option. I think this is very much how you're feeling at the time. Does Samir fancy this 15-yarder? Or does he go, well, actually, no, we'll just protect our lead and just try and keep it tight. Let's see if we can get some mistakes out of them. And corner 3's then the defensive option. So in the in the Essex-Watson v Fisher-Higgins match, Zach hit in third turn after Matt had played the super shot, picked up his break very nicely, and then failed 2 back. And I believe Harry's having a ball around, and he's just got to 4 back with a new standard leave. So Debbie and Samir have gone to have a look at exactly what that rush looks like from the opponent's point of view. That's if you call a 5-yarder a rush. And I think this is a very sensible choice of shot. Early in a doubles match. Keep it tight. You've got a 9-point lead. You can see how brown that is round hoop 1. As it goes on into the afternoon, that area is going to become quite tricky. A big thank you to Budleigh for holding this set of 2 test matches, the golf croquet on Tuesday and Wednesday that America won 10-6, and the Solomon Trophy for the Thursday to Sunday, one of the key fixtures in the Croquet England calendar. It's become a really good match every year, and certainly over the last 30 years has played a key part in improving the standard of global croquet. So, it doesn't look like Stephen said, yep, partner, I just fancy that 5-yarder as a rush. And he said, how about you shoot at me, maybe? We'll join up if you miss. And then the question again, if Stuart does hit this shot, is he just going to go to roll to corner 1, which I think is the right thing to do? Obviously it's much worse now because that's in the corner. So they're just joined in corner 4, and I think this is too aggressive. From my point of view, if red was open on black and blue, that's a much safer shot. Just joining up in corner 3, the Americans should go round from here. I think it was legitimate to stay in corner 2 as well. I would have shot at the opponents in corner 4. You don't give that much away. Maybe you give a corner cannon. It's not a disaster. And Stuart should roll that to hoop 2 going to corner 3 now, unless the hoop's in the way, in which case he may be forced just to take off. A bit unlucky that the hoop's in the way. It does make the pickup a lot more difficult, not being able to roll black to hoop 2. All you've got to do is get your ball sort of by hoop 3 area, and you've got a ball and a half target at 7 yards. So you don't need a particularly good roll. I think that got the red first. And yeah, the fact that Budleigh have been kind enough to turn their watering system off before the event has meant that we've had these trickier patches. And that's what you want when you're playing test match croquet. You don't just want it to be all plus 26 TP. You want people to make the odd error here and there and really test these top players out. So it just needs a little nudge here, get red out of the way and get himself a nice tight rush on yellow to hoop 1. Looks pretty good. Remember to put red back on the lawn before you play the shot. The opponent should be stopping him here. This is a clear, you have to have red back on the boundary. There's no penalty if you don't, but had he hit that slightly off line and gone to the right, he might have moved red had it been on the boundary. And he still hasn't replaced it. And we've had some hot weather, and yesterday Stephen tried to approach hoop 2 when he's for hoop 4. That's Stephen Mulliner, I should say. So fortunately underhit his approach, went back to partner, and next time realised he was on for hoop 4. So a bit lucky. Not a bad rush by Stuart there. He needs a positive approach now. Just send it 8 yards north of the hoop, get in front. And then you've got a choice. If you run it by a yard, you can hit black. If you run it up to yellow, you can hit yellow. Want yellow to be slightly east of the line of 1 and 2. So you've got a chance of getting a rush back to black if you run it past it. This looks like he's putting it a little bit too far west for my... Oh, he's making a leave. Oh, I hate that. That was a really good chance for a break. Now he has to guard yellow and red shot through black and blue. And that in itself isn't very easy to do. So he's probably going to err on guarding yellow because yellow's at hoop 2. And he needs to go halfway to the boundary, maybe 2 yards off the south boundary, which again will leave himself a 4 to 5 yarder. But you can't just leave black a rush to hoop 1 because it's a free shot for yellow then. And doesn't want to leave a double. Oh yeah, that's a compulsory shot, yellow at black. You have to take that. Stephen's not going to want to turn around and hit a 7 or 8 yarder as his first shot. He may take it, but yeah, yellow has to shoot at black. Lovely view of the Budleigh Pavilion there. Very English setting, this. Very picturesque club. So, has Samir just cornered there? Or has he just told him to put red back on the yard line? No, okay, so just waiting for red to be replaced into its lawful position. It should have happened a few shots ago. And then Samir will just take yellow at black here. There's no other shot. So that's where it misses to. Now Stephen may well turn around and pick it off because it makes his break very much easier, but it's a missable roquet. If they're going to go really defensive, they just play yellow to corner 4. But I want this free shot. It's not guarded. Yeah, you certainly don't want to have a wide join here. They've got a rush to hoop 1. They should be able to run hoop 1 with control, even though it's in that brown patch. So I don't like any wide join where they're standing now. Corner 4 is the option if you just want to be defensive. He's having this wide join. I don't like this at all. It's on a green patch, so easier to get behind. It's ahead of the opponent's break. Everything he says, no, that's not the right place to go. So we'll see what Stephen Morgan can do with this. And I've been mentioning in various bits of commentary I've done how important this type of position is. You've got a nice rush to your hoop from 4 or 5 yards away. Can you rush to your hoop, make it, and get a rush to wherever you want? And the really strong players do it time and time and time again. It's something that everyone can practice. It's not a difficult sequence of 3 shots. Straightforward rush, straightforward approach, run the hoop with control. So again, blue's not far enough north there. He's done well to run it by that distance. So that was more difficult than it looked. I'd like to be running that by 2 to 3 feet ideally. But he's managed to run it by 6 inches and he's got a rush nicely at yellow, which he's played very well. So he's got enough room now to send that to hoop 3 and get a rush on yellow to red, and he should go round from here. I'd be very positive with blue here. Send it all the way to hoop 3. Easy shot. Getting a rush on yellow to red. Absolutely bread and butter shot. That's too defensive on the blue. I want to know, having rushed yellow to red and got a dolly rush to hoop 2, providing I make hoop 2, I'm definitely going round. Hasn't quite got that all the way to third corner. That's short and he won't be going round. So this is the match Great Britain expect to win today. It's our number 1 pair against their number 3 pair. So this is sort of one we've theoretically should be winning. The other 2 matches probably slightly favour America today. Plays his roll, and it's a really good shot. That's a should be able to run that, but having run it, he still hasn't got a break because he hasn't got this hoop 3 Pioneer. Both balls very close to the boundary still, and he's not going to get a rush other than to corner 2. So makes his hoop. Still got a 5-yarder. Yeah, sinks it. And more big shots to come. Not easy from here at all. Again, I do want to send red as a hoop 4 Pioneer. Potentially going to yellow near corner 3 and then take off behind my partner ball to get a rush to hoop 3. It's all just a bit more difficult than it should be. This looks like he's going to blue rather than yellow. That's one of the things I don't like. If you looked at where the mallet was pointing when it was lined up to the ball and where it finished after it hit the ball, it skewed. And I like coming back, finding my half angle, stalking it down that line, hitting it down that line, and hoping my mallet finishes pointing in the direction I've hit rather than skewing towards the direction that the striker's ball is going to be going. So just deciding to roll up to hoop 2 straight away here. Hoop 3. It's gone too far. No. Slower up there. Much greener than hoop 1. And it's a good approach. And he's got a break now. But these methodologies of picking breaks up, which are slightly imperfect, the more difficult the lawn becomes, the more you found out by your lines of play. Even just approaching a hoop from near corner 3 there is really, really difficult when it's a quick patch. And again, you can see the mallet skew there after it hits. And just from a ball striking point of view, it's just bad technically. You want to play every shot in the same manner. So when your mallet hits the striker's ball, it should be still going in the direction you've been hitting. It applies for single ball shots and croquet strokes. So anyway, this is an equalising break. He won't be doing any sort of TPO because he hasn't had the balls out in time. So yellow on 4 back, remember. So it'll just be a ball to the peg, a ball to 4 back, and he'll try and make a leave that encourages the yellow to play. And that's normally has red or just off hoop 4 for an NSL or an MSL. So ideally wants to be making 2 back off partner. And 3 back off the yellow ball. Sorry if I said the red, but yeah, 3 back should be off the yellow. Yellow's at hoop 4. So just communicating with partner. What leave do you want? Stuart is normally just a diagonal spread man. And a diagonal spread's never bad, but it doesn't have any forcing element to it. It doesn't really matter to the opponents whether they lift the ball at 2 or the ball at the peg. They're still giving you the same easy pickup. So they'll play the hoop 1 ball in that case. If you can make a MSL, NSL with the 4-back ball at hoop 4, then you get a standard triple if they lift the hoop 1 ball and miss. So I want a little bit more than just a diagonal spread here. Meanwhile, Harry's had a quick ball to 4-back. The lift's been missed, and Gabrielle's already run 1-back on her 4-ball break. So no peeling. It's just going to be a nice ball to peg, get two breaks up. Or Zach's on 2-back, so it's not really an easy finish for Matt. But they have got the lift out of the way.
He's on 3-back, I had to peel him.
I had to peel him, all right. So Harry's just said he had to peel him through 2-back to get his break. So that does make it a possible finish for Matthew. Much easier to do a quadruple than a quintuple. Meanwhile, Stephen's doing what I suggested. Make sure partner's at 2-back. And he's gone into yellow there. That's not very good. So a bigger croquet stroke now than he wants to. And red is not a great hoop 6-pan here, really. It's 2.5 yards away from the hoop. That's down the wrong line, I think. Yeah, that's gone the wrong side of red. Yellow's pretty good, but he's going to be approaching the 6th hoop from the side. Not ideal. And Stephen tends just to play takeoffs here. Yeah, good weight. Yeah. Still a tendency for the American players to be a little bit loose at break play. Used to playing on very well manicured lawns, even paced, and sand based as well, so the hoops are a lot easier. So they don't feel the need to run every hoop from 3 or 4 inches away. And it can lead to problems when you start playing on a difficult lawn. Some of you may have watched the coverage of the Open Championship from Surbiton, where we had a fantastic lawn 2 at 14 seconds, and the best players in the world, so Robert Fulford, the reigning world champion, making multiple errors due to the difficulty of the lawn, and he was approaching all his hoops to inches away. So yellow's the ball he wants to have at hoop 4. So that's gone down there now. There's nothing wrong in sending red there as well. You can have all 4 balls around the 3-back hoop to make you leave if you like. And I would certainly be sending red to 3-back and rush blue over there as well after 2-back. Again, just having a chat with partner. On lawn 5, it looks like Kyle Maloof is about to rush to 3 back on the first break. It's possible the Brits have had a ball around as well. Can't quite see the clips from here. Again, simply, this approach, it's only from 6 feet away, but I'd be really unhappy to be approaching a hoop from that far away, this far into a break. It's a good approach. Going to run it off the boundary. So all the balls now over at hoop 4. Probably just Croquet Blue a little bit further north, getting a rush on red back towards yellow. A big thank you to everyone who's worked on the cameras. Long day out there in the sunshine. Big thanks to James Galpin, who's come down and worked on the editing desk for the last few days. Great to have a formal record of this. It would be wonderful to go back to the 60s and 70s and be able to look at test matches from back there. So yeah, going to nudge blue north, rush on red towards yellow, and he'll be making the hoop off the yellow ball, trying to get it into that position wide from the end of A bulk behind hoop 4. And he'll croquet red northeast of hoop 4, so that when he puts yellow on the hoop, he can rush it off the boundary by the cameraman, croquet it all the way over towards hoop 2 and stay near blue. She's very much what Stuart's just shown with some movements of his arm. That looks pretty good. He can run this past the yellow and rush it back towards the spot he wants. Again, just a bit longer this croquet than it really should be. Oh wow, is it that hard? Oh, that's really bad. I just thought you'd dribble that one off. Getting yellow where he's pointed with the mallet is a lot more difficult. And if he leaves it open, he's struggling to make any sort of good leave. It's just about good enough. Should be probably one ball further north, but red hasn't got a full ball from A bulk. May still take the shot at yellow. It's short and it's at least half open. And we'll end up laying up a bit further south than he would have done normally. So again, red's shot's going to be shorter if it wants to take the aggressive short shot. So yeah, this position where Stuart's standing is where they'll end up laying up. And you'd much rather be 2 yards further north. Just lengthen the shot for the opponents from A-bulk. Now this is certainly an occasion where I would contemplate not playing the hoop 1 ball. If you play the hoop 1 ball, it gives the standard triple away. They might be tempted by red at yellow from where it lies. It might be a big target with the hoop there. I certainly wouldn't say that's wrong. The only reason I'm tempted to play yellow is Stuart's had a lot of turns where he's tried a delayed TP and he hasn't looked like making any of them, and some of them he's broken down. So it's not sort of the same thought process as if you're playing, you know, Essex, Watson, Balding. But yeah, red at yellow from where it lies looks like a really tempting target. That might be a ball and a half as well. Anyway, made it to 4 back. Yeah, it looks like it's not more than a ball and a third, I don't think, for red. I'm still tempted to lift yellow and take the long lift here. Try and get a mistake out of Stuart. Now, the question is, can you make a target of a third of the yellow and black in the background? And if you can, that's one of my favourite lifts. I just love shooting at that extra little bit of a target. Debbie's walking purposefully, so I think she's going to take the short lift from A-bulk. Yep. Now, has she got this third of yellow and black in the background? Yeah, the fact she's moved that back from the end of A-bulk does suggest she's got that little bit of yellow as a bonus ball to hit. Good camera angle here. Looks like there's a gap to me between yellow and black, but we have to assume that there isn't. Nope. And it's bounced off to a spot that gives the opponent the easiest possible pickup as well. So really good chance for Stuart here. He can hit Debbie's ball straight away. Croquet at hoop 2. And then he's got choices as to whether he rushes yellow to hoop 1 or yellow towards black. Meanwhile, Gabrielle's made all 12 of her hoops and is making a leave. What leave, I'm not quite sure. Got to hit red here. Just gives you so much easier pickup. And yellow won't rush 3 yards in front of hoop 1, but it will rush to hoop 1. So I think I'm just going to send this to hoop 2, go into black, and get a rush on yellow to 1. Probably throwing black well into the lawn as well. And that's okay. I fancy tapping the black and stopping it almost all the way over to hoop 1. Stuart just focusing on getting a rush on yellow. A little bit longer than he would have wanted. It's a good direction, but I'd like to be a good foot closer than that. Flicked it off the hoop and it's gone north of hoop 1, so it's not bad. Given that it hit the hoop, that's quite a good result. And again, this is a shot worth practicing, but if you can play a thick takeoff here, so that you can rush yellow over to black after the hoop, it's a very valuable shot to have. That looks pretty good. Oh dear, that's not going to be easy. Straightforward, but couldn't get any power into it. So could go to black straight away, or we could rush back to it after hoop 2. Personal preference. Gone to black straight away. And again, just like Stephen Morgan, his mallet skews to the side the ball's going after impact. Not very good technically, and something that everyone should be working on. And I assume he's going to play the roll here. Get black all the way up to hoop 3, ready for the peel. And red's in quite a nice place to go to. And playing that shot centre style. Centre style is very good for accuracy. It tends to struggle with power. So both balls a little bit short of where he wanted, but it's still playable. That's a good rush. And Gabrielle's having a old standard leave for 4-back and peg. I think Zach will walk onto that and think it's unmissable, the 13-yarder. It's a really good option for him just to hit in make 3 back, crosswire them at hoop 4, lay up in corner 2, and very, very powerful position. Anyway, Stuart now has a standard triple peel. So you expect him to finish, but he is the number 6 in the American team, so there's every chance we may get an error somewhere. And that's a nice first shot. So lovely red, and he's got a position where he can rush the black almost in front of the hoop, take off adjusting it to get a rush on yellow to the hoop. The other option is you rush this to the north boundary and you croquet it back to peeling position. Woo, 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 woo. So, yeah, thick takeoff here. Get a rush on yellow. Moving black, what is it, 2 feet? Maybe 2 to 3 feet further west. Yeah, it's 3 feet. Loads of room behind yellow. Good black. Nice shot. This is pretty standard from here. And if you can put yellow somewhere where you can run the hoop, hit black, and play a straight stop shot, and get a rush on yellow south, that's ideal. We don't want to be peeling with pull. Just about okay. You can just nudge into that. Not sure he can peel it straight anymore though. The hoop's going to be a bit in his backswing. He may well need to play this with a little bit of pull. So you can see he's aiming it into the right hand wire as we look at it. So he's going to be probably aiming at the left hand wire, letting the blue split out. Fantastic piece of camera work, so well done to getting that. And he's got the peel, and he's got a rush south, and it's one of those interesting positions for black. When do you go and come back to it? Do you come back to it after hoop 4? And I usually do, and I rush it back through the hoop with a lot of power. So I'm wanting this hoop 5 pioneer fractionally on the eastern side of the hoop. Okay, that's good. Get a nice tight rush north, because I want to be rush peeling back through hoop 3 from very close, because it's a disaster if it sticks in the hoop. So I'm going to be hitting it very hard from short range. You cannot to leave it there and go back after hoop 5. So the Americans have hit the lift shot against 4 back and peg. They're 1 and 3 back. I think it's Matthew who's played though. So he's got a quadruple peel ahead of him with a fallback of pegging Gabrielle out. Stuart's left partner there. And you may think that's a bad hoop 6 pioneer red, but he's going to have to rush black across. And it's actually not a bad ball there. That's a bad hoop 5. This is tricky, I think. See if Ian's available. Yep, he's out there. So Stuart put his mallet up straight away, indicating that he thinks it's reasonably straightforward. It doesn't look trivial to me. He's trying to see whether he can get through the hoop to hit it. I'm pretty confident he won't hit this hard, whatever he does, so he's still going to be a long way away from black, and he's got to avoid crosswiring himself. Just asking for the carrots to be lowered so his mallet can swing past the left-hand wire without being hit by the carrot. That's completely allowable. Just run your mallet along the left-hand wire so you've got one of the parts of your mallet anchored, and then you can just poke it through, really. Ian just marking the blue again, just in case it happens to roll because the ground's being hammered. Stuart now looking at a much more difficult left-handed sweep. So clearly more difficult than it initially looked. Missed on the right. So, big opportunity now. Red's got a 7-yarder at black, and red's the ball they want to play. I'm pretty sure yellow will play. It's just got a 1-yarder. The question is, what does yellow do? And I should point out that there's a reasonable chance here of peeling Stephen Morgan out. So yellow rushes blue up towards black, rushes black over just westwards, can try a straight peel then from probably 3 yards away, getting a rush on red to 4-back, and isn't that difficult really. Normally when you're on 4-back you don't really think about peeling a ball on penult out, but this is not a difficult opportunity for Samir. I don't think Debbie's got 100% of black to shoot at. He's probably only about 85% open. So I don't think she'll play the 6-yarder. But yellow has a definite chance of this DPO. Helped by the fact that yellow has a rush pointing at black to start with. It does make it quite attractive, I think. I'm definitely going to have a go at this. Meanwhile, Matt's picked up a break. And he's got a standard quadruple ahead of him. Or probably not going to have a tight enough position at hoop 4 to peel 3 back before hoop 4. So where they're standing now is almost looking like where they're planning to lay up. So black won't be able to hit them, and they'll be presumably rushing blue up the lawn, croqueting blue black back towards hoop 1, corner 1 area, getting a rush on red to one of these areas where they're standing where black can't hit them. I still prefer this DPO from here. The problem with making the leave I suggested is it's really difficult to make hoop 1 after blue corners. So yeah, let's make some hoops and peel black out. The other point to mention is, if any of you are sort of thinking about just taking yellow to the peg here, it's actually better if you're just going to make hoops yourself to just make 2 hoops and a good strong leave like a diagonal spread. It means that if the opponents later in the game get back in with their penult ball, they can't just make 2 hoops and peg you out. They're going to have a lot of difficulty peeling you through rover with very little time to organise it. Whereas when red gets in, 1 rover, you're going to have ample time to do that single peel whenever you want. Normally before 2 back or 3 back. So I definitely want Samir to make hoops this turn. Whether it's 2 and a leave, or 3 and 2 peels on black and peg it out, sort of up to him. It doesn't look to me as if they've really looked at peeling black out. None of the lines they looked at looked particularly attractive. But certainly looking now as if he's not going to make any points this turn. So I think the concept of what they were trying to do was send blue to hoop 2, and then crosswire either at hoop 2 or at hoop 3. Blue's gone, first of all, not far enough, so it's a long way away from 2, and secondly, it's gone a lot across the narrow wiring line, so the margin of error he's got for getting black wired from blue is tiny. So it's not going well, this. One thing you can do is you can still try and do what I suggested to start with and have a DPO. Or just 2 hoops and a leave. And the distance between black and blue is way too short. It needs to be at least 7 yards longer. I'm going to make 4 back here. So I'm not going to give this turn any marks at all. Way too short a shot being left. Yeah, this is what you might do if you were playing with a 2 handicapper. Put a ball at hoop 1, ball at hoop 2 and leave a rush. Debbie's way better than that, and Samir's, understands the game, should have made a much better leave than this. It's just not good enough. Leaving a rush at the blue ball. I anticipate black will shoot at blue, and then hopefully you can rush it to wherever black misses to and get a rush on black to blue, and you've got a standard triple then. Geez, he's given black a... Well, maybe hoop 5's in the way, but black's got a short shot at blue, and it's got no. It's open on red and yellow, and there's only about 2.5 balls between them. So the only thing you can say about the leave that's positive is if the Americans miss, it is very easy for Debbie. Through the middle. So I'm going to hit black, stop it a couple of yards into the lawn and get a rush on yellow to hoop 1. Simply because it will have the right polarity. After hoop 1 you can send the peelie straight to 4 back and everything's nice and easy. And yeah, I think he's, if they're in contact, I think he's put that on the wrong side because he's given just a little bit more room to Debbie to dig black out. Under hit. Test matches are usually won and lost when you look at the games that people had finishing turns in but didn't win. And you just got to hope that your team's good enough to finish the finishing turns. Fantastic rush to hoop 1 there. Got choices of either rushing it south of black after the hoop or north towards blue. A good stop shot here, always handy. Give yourself as much room as you can, get yellow past the hoop. Should be able to get a rush wherever she wants from there. Yeah, a nice rush back to black. And rush it, you know, at least 4 yards south of black so you can get it all the way up to hoop 3, holding for a rush on black to blue. I'd probably rush it 5 yards south. Yeah, she's giving herself a lot of room, but you've got to get that ball off the boundary. It just makes the line of the croquet stroke much easier. And now she's got hoop 4 in the way. It's all, yeah, she had a dolly rush there, and it's a bad place to rush yellow to. So, yeah, she's not happy with hoop 4 being in the way. Yeah, good red. Very useful getting that rush north. Should have more control now round about hoop 2. And she's done well with the yellow as well. It's the right length. So yeah, coped well with those couple of shots there, and is now back in good position. So Debbie's broken down on quite a few triples this tournament so far. She came into the tournament having had quite a good season. Lots of peeling, winning tournaments. So let's hope she can just put those mistakes behind her and finish off from here. Matthew, meanwhile, has got the 3-back peel and looks like he may well have jaws the 4-back peel, and he's now on 3-back. So it'll be a straight triple to finish with the ball starting in the jaws of the hoop. So not too difficult. He's got a tricky approach to 3-back though. So yeah, Matthew's still struggling. Needs a good approach from the side here. Debbie will send this down to hoop 4. Good approach from Matthew. That's certainly a match that the Americans would be expecting to win, their top pair against the British third pair. And Debbie's gone into yellow, so it has to put this into peeling position, getting a rush on black. And normally you'd try and make sure you hit black first, and then rush yellow to the hoop. So it's made it a bit more difficult for herself. Yeah, good rush. Probably send this to the left-hand side of hoop 3, because that's the side that blue is at hoop 4. Just run this past yellow by a foot and hopefully rush it back closer to the hoop. That looks perfect. Matthew having to approach 4-back from 4 yards away. All a bit imprecise. 4-foot hoop. He'll lose if he fails this. runs it to the boundary. So Debbie will play this with a straight stop shot, get on the ground, lined up the sides of the ball, left hand side just on the inside of the left hand wire, right hand side the ball's just inside the edge of the right hand wire, and if you do that the middles will go through the middle of the hoop. Play it dead straight with a stop shot and hold for a rush on black. Yep, good shot. Got it through pretty much to the identical place Stuart got his through, so it'll be interesting to see if Debbie does anything different with her approach to how this ball is. On lawn 5, Stevens on a delayed triple peel. So that's Mulliner and Good potentially having a finishing turn. Matthews Irish peeled Penult to about a yard past the peg on his quadruple peel. Good hoop from Debbie that. And I think she'll probably just tap this blue and send it to hoop 6, going to black. She broke down one of her triples by missing a 1 yard rush after hoop 4, so I think she'll definitely be wanting... No, she's swinging quite hard at this. Yeah, there we go. Just taps it. I think that's the right choice. And again, your hoop 6 pioneer again, probably just fractionally north of the hoop. It's very unusual to deliberately put it north of the hoop, but this is an instance where it's a pretty good idea, and that's good. Just to the side is much better than in front of the hoop. And Matthew's got a 3 to 4 foot straight rover peel to finish his quadruple. Don't know whether he'll Irish this or just play a stop shot. And Debbie would like a rush to the east boundary level with hoop 3 out of this. So a good stop shot. Not quite hard enough that. Just want to give yourself more margin to run the hoop into. And that's hampered. It's almost identical to Stuart, really, isn't it? This is pretty much a like-for-like set of shots. Matthews completed the rover peel and just needs to rush to the peg to win +5 QP. I'd better watch this. So very similar to Stuart's hampered shot. The big difference is that Debbie's left-handed. So both of them play the left-handed sweep, but Stuart's right-handed, I believe, and Debbie's left-handed. So just a little bit easier from Debbie's point of view. And not playing the big roll here, the big split roll. This is a deliberate decision. She's going to send the peelie to one back and just tidy up the break. Very easy to get crosswise from the yellow if you play the roll. And there are lots of these bigger croquet strokes that Debbie can't really hit hard enough. So she plays more takeoffs than the majority of players. So doesn't want this to be stuck on the wire or in the hoop. Yeah, that's good. So we're tidying up the break. Yellow goes over to one back. After making hoop 6 off blue, we'll rush blue south, croquet it 2 back, rush black up the lawn and throw black over towards penultimate, so that when she makes 1 back off yellow, she can try after the hoop to get a rush in front of penultimate and peel it going to that escape ball black. So that's sort of a 7 or 8 shots ahead. And you'd be disappointed with that as a 1 back pioneer, because you know you're trying to get control out of the hoop to rush over to penult. So I really wanted a genuinely good 1 foot in front of the hoop pioneer there. And yeah, I think she's right here, sending blue to the right hand side as she looks at it of hoop 6 gives her a better angle to get down to the black. Bit quicker in front of 2 back. Just gone on 4 or 5 feet more than she'd like. Nice rush on black though. And certainly there's enough room to rush to the west boundary and send the 3 back pioneer out going to blue, so it's not a major problem. That black is not where you want it. You can't send that out as a proper escape ball at penult now. Yeah, and she's annoyed. Just where she's standing now would be a perfect place to send it over to penult, getting behind yellow, but she's either going to have to compromise the rush on yellow or compromise with black. Neither's a good option. She's compromising black. I'm still going to try and rush across here. But the peel is probably going to be played with more of a sort of take-off peel than a nice straight stop shot. I still think it's worth rushing over here. It's no good being short. You either want to be dead straight in front or a foot past, and both of those will give you a nice angle to peel getting a rush on black. So she's not doing that. This is going to be setting up for a delayed double to finish. Meanwhile, it looks like Stephen Mulliner has broken down on his delayed triple peel. So these games where it should have been won by one side and the other side ends up winning it are really important. I remember Gabrielle had a singles game where she finished on 4-back and peg, and her opponent hit in and did a triple peel to win. That's less of a problem to me. If you play solid no error croquet and your opponent plays well to beat you, that's fine. It's where you've had the finishing turn and you've looked like you're going to finish, and then suddenly you make a mistake and give them all the balls. They're the ones you've got to cut out at test match croquet. A little bit short on the 3-back Pioneer, but nice rush to 2-back. And black's fine there. So she'll be rushing blue back up to yellow, and some people might even try and peel yellow through penultimate going to 3-back. Debbie is almost certainly not one of those players. And when you're on a delayed triple like this, doing a delayed double to finish, you have to get a rush out of 3-back. If she doesn't, she'll end up playing a really long, big roll, which isn't really one of the shots she's good at. That's a really good takeoff. Can rush this more or less wherever she wants, give herself room to get that forward rush. Hoops are pretty firm in the ground still, day 3 of this test match. She's got plenty of room to run this into. The problem is it's just got 15-degree angle on it. So you need to give it a little bit of extra. And she's run the hoop. I better do this again. It wasn't a difficult shot at all. The pretty much straight through the hoop, and just wanted the carrots lowering to make sure she didn't catch those. And she's played a reasonable role afterwards. Black's actually not bad there. You want black to be south of the hoop. But yeah, black's fine there. Just needs to peel this or draws it, focusing on getting a rush to 4 back. That's the key thing. So you'll aim this up to probably hit the inside of the right hamois, and it'll pull across to the middle of the hoop. Meanwhile, I think Stephen Mullen has hit a leave and is back in on lawn 5. And they're just starting game 2 after that quadruple by Matthew Essick in the first. So nice peel. That is in a sort of no man's land territory for yellow. Whether to rush it back north of black and croquet it down to rover, or whether to rush it down to rover and take off black to black, both of them are about the same validity with the yellow there. Anyway, Debbie needs a half ball cut to 4 back before we see what she's going to do with yellow. Yeah, nice cut. Slightly overcut. I thought that was better when she hit it, but it has definitely been overcut. This is a good 4-yard approach. No real pace around hoop 3, so it shouldn't be that tricky. Yeah, nice approach. Yeah, good shot. Just a reminder, we're still 5 matches to Great Britain, 5 matches to the USA. Really very, very well balanced test match. And it's all going to come down to tomorrow's 6 singles matches. So, does she go south of yellow, rush it back north of black and croquet it back to rover? Or does she go north of yellow, rush it down to rover and take off back to black? Whatever she does, it's better for blue to be down by rover. Or the peg. I don't like leaving blue behind here. Gabrielle's picked up the first break on lawn 6. And Debbie's gone for the rushing and taking off option. And has played a really good red. That's a really very, very good shot from where she was. Good red. And yellow's fine. It should finish from here. Okay. Good approach. So yellow's close enough to Rover here that Debbie should be guaranteed to Irish peel it. And if you're guaranteed to Irish peel it, you generally want one of the opponent's balls as a side ball, in case you just go through the hoop and you want to hit something that's on the side. And the other ball should be a very straight ball, probably just 2 or 3 yards south of the hoop. 2 yards is plenty. And that's just in case you run it to a position where you can't hit your side ball. You can still hit the straight one. So black should have been probably 2 balls further there. Blue's going to be the side ball, and she just focus on getting a nice rush on yellow. She can peel it dead straight, and nothing should be able to go wrong from there. Looks good. As a reminder, Essick and Watson game up, but Gabrielle Higgins having first break of game 2. And on lawn 5, Stephen Mulliner's about to make Rover, and I think Jack may be on Penult, maybe on 4-back, I'm not sure. But we're certainly 1 turn away from winning the first game down there. So all incredibly close. And this is one of those games where the Americans had a finishing turn, and it looks like they're going to lose it. Yeah, nice Irish peel. Yes, it's gone through about 6 yards. That's okay. Hit black, move it out of the way so it's not in the way of any rushing, and get a rush on blue to yellow. And she's right to be disappointed here. You should really have a dolly rush pointing not at Rover. So just still needs to play one reasonable shot. Yeah, nice line. Good weight. And that will be the first game plus 11 TP to Debbie and Smear. I'm going to take a break now, try and find you a different voice to listen to, and keep tuned, still 5-all.
Right, welcome. This is Chris Williams going to commentate on game 2 of the best of 3 match between the British pair of Samir Patel and Debbie Lyons against the American pair of Stephen Morgan and Stuart Lawrence. Current state of the match is Patel and Lyons are 1-0 up. And it looks like colours are staying the same. And Debbie's staying with red, which he was in the first game. And is doing a standard east boundary first shot. In the other games, Mulliner and Good are 1-up against Balding and Watson. No, sorry, Balding and Maloof. And Essick and Watson are 1-up against Higgins and Fisher. Right, back to the game on lawn 7. Stuart Lawrence has opened with a standard corner 2 opening, which we've been seeing quite a lot of these. Right, shot 3. Samir is going to be going for Debbie's ball on the east boundary. We've been seeing quite a few shots yesterday, especially, of going for the ball in corner 2. But this is the more traditional response. And Samir hits. I would expect him to now take off to the Americans' ball in corner 2 and move it either down the west boundary or to near the peg, and then come back to lay himself, or lay Debbie a rush. Yes, good view of the Budleigh Pavilion in the background. It is about 100 years old now.
I just can't settle. It's difficult. It's not your random weekend, is it?
Right. Takeoff's a little shorter than he would have liked. This is always quite a sweaty length shot, especially early in the game.
Your lady triumph. She did. She finished a triple. Yeah, very good. What happened in the game over there? I think they.
And he hits it easily. Those who've been watching for a while can see that the sun has now come back out. There are quite a few high clouds about, which are blocking the sun out for 5-10 minutes at a time. In the other games, I can see it looks like Tom Balding's going around third turn against Mulliner and Good. Right, so Smear's moved Lawrence's blue about 8-9 yards down the west boundary, and it looks like he is a little short on the shot back to red. It gives red quite a long rush. Tom has just failed hoop 4. With 3 balls on the lawn. Stephen taking a long shot down the boundary, and he's missed. The long shot on this lawn 7, did used to be quite difficult to hit. The boundary sloped quite badly until a couple of years ago, but local members David Warhurst and Duncan Reeve have been doing a lot of work on top dressing the boundaries in the last couple of years, so they have improved a lot. For information, this lawn 7 is actually laid on 2 hard court tennis courts. When the club redeveloped the lawns a few years back, they did consider digging it all up, but they were advised not to because it was just going to be so expensive. So they did drill a couple of big drainage holes, well, a lot of wide drainage holes down to penetrate through the hard court. On line 5, I can see that Jack Good has hit. So recap, the Balding failed hoop 4 at the start of game 2. Samir and Debbie having a long discussion here. It's almost certainly because the rush is a lot longer than Debbie would like. It looks as if they're thinking of just perhaps yellow playing, yeah, and rolling over to hoop 1. And another little cloud has come over, so sun has gone in again. It is getting quite warm here when the sun is out. It's predicted to be about 22 centigrade, lower 70s Fahrenheit today. Because Budleigh is right on the sea, the sea is probably less than half a mile from the club. We do tend to benefit here from sea breezes in the afternoon. On Lord 6 in the other doubles, it looks like Gabrielle's got round to 4 back in game 2. But the Americans are now in. Right, it's a bit of defensive play from the British pair here. Rather than rolling red and yellow over, which is what I thought they might have done, they've put black up towards hoop 3 and have now just laid a rush in corner 4 over towards blue, which is on the boundary near hoop 2. So a defensive bit of play from the Americans here. Stephen Morgan playing blue a couple of yards outside corner 2. What they're trying to do is make it so that Debbie's breaks is as difficult as possible. They obviously decided that shooting would have just made Debbie's break far too easy. And now she's got a bit of work to do to get going. She does have a cut rush to hoop 1, which is probably what she'll take, and yes, that's what she's taken. It's a little bit short. It's interesting how the camera above shows quite a big brown patch around hoop 1, which is not quite so noticeable in real life. Yeah, and that's slightly short. Debbie's still going for the hoop, but it's about a 2-yard angled. And she gets it through well and gets a rush to black. What a bonus. And rushes over to black, so she'll now be able to put yellow as a hoop 3 pioneer, aiming to get a rush on black over to hoop 2, or maybe even blue. There we can see cameraman Mark Hutley. He's doing a sterling job here. Mark's actually from Manchester, but now spends half the year in New Zealand and half near Budleigh Salterton. We can see a couple of club games going on in the afternoon on the far lawns. There should be a lot of club members here after about 1:30. The Saturday afternoon roll-up is normally very popular here. They'll have 30, 40 people and then do a random draw on to decide who plays and who plays on which lawn and who partners whom. So Debbie's cut it to a reasonable distance from hoop 2. She could actually get a cross wire here, which I doubt she'll take. I think looks like she's just going to try a take-off to get in front of the hoop. And she might just get the cross wire if anything goes wrong. Debbie's not happy. On lawn 6, I can see that Matthew Essick, who's right in front of me, has just made hoop 2. It'll be interesting to see whether he goes for the TPO. Higgins's ball is already round to 4 back. On the other lawn, I can see that Jack Good is about to run hoop 4, which is on the 4th turn, Balding having failed for 3rd turn. And Debbie runs the hoop and nearly roquets the black spot that's on the camera. Now Debbie should be away now. It's got a good pioneer at hoop 3. Blue is out in the lawn. Black down to hoop 4. Very good pioneer. Black down at hoop 4. Now about to make hoop 3. She'll be expecting to get to 4 back now, so she'd be very disappointed not to get to 4 back, and we'll be starting to think, or probably already knows what leave is going to be given. On the other lawn, Matthew has just run hoop 3, and I don't think he's doing a TPO because he's got it now as a standard 4-ball break.
But there was definitely in the discussion of shorter formats, that was saying, well, you're going to have if a format's going to be singles, doubles, or third strokes, that's quite a lot of attraction.
question just come in about the afternoon roll-up. Most of the afternoon roll-ups here at GC. Currently, I think they have about 4 or 5 during the week. There are AC roll-ups as well, but I think they tend to be either Tuesday or Thursday. Defensive bit play from the Americans here. Now, you might have noticed that some of the club members' games in the distance on lawns 9 and 10, some of them are playing in white and some aren't. Generally what happens in the club is most players don't wear whites, but they do when there's an internal club match, so that the other members then know that people are playing a proper match. Right, so Debbie's still 3-balling it. Blue is just south of hoop 2 and a couple of yards out, so it's not on the boundary, but she just hasn't had the opportunity to pick it up yet. On lawn 6, Matthew is up to hoop 5, and on lawn 5, Jack is up to hoop 6. Right, little backward take off here for for Debbie at hoop 5. This is where she nearly came to grief in the previous game on her triple, and where Stuart Lawrence did come to grief on his break. Close the door slightly. I'll close the door if there's any background noise of the crowd on the veranda, which is right next to us. So Debbie's finally gone over to blue, having left yellow behind. She's looking to rush behind black to then put blue as the one-back pioneer. Yeah, and there's a good shot of the club's new container in the car park. For those who don't know, the club actually had a break-in a couple of weeks ago. Broke in the middle of the night and stole quite a lot of small garden equipment, such as small hand mowers, leaf blowers. So the club is looking to really up the security. It was quite surprising since Budleigh's such a quiet place. Alright, so Debbie's now ran hoop 6, rushing black down to yellow, which is by hoop 5. Slightly short of it. The blue is the one back pioneer. Right, so she's going to rush yellow up back past blue and then send yellow down as the 2 back pioneer. Yeah, that's a good shot. Yellow's a little shorter than she would have liked. We've just got a small light aircraft flying over. During the day we do get quite a lot of light aircraft flying over here, and at certain times of the year we even get the delights of a Spitfire flying over, doing pleasure flights from the local airport. It's a wonderful sound, but quite expensive. I believe it's about £2,000 for a half-hour flight in a Spitfire. Right, safely through one back, but it's run a little bit further than she'd like, because she now doesn't have a forward rush down to yellow, because yellow is not a brilliant pioneer. Now that is now quite tricky. What she might well do is try and take off behind black. Yep. It's a little longer than she'd have liked. And that's a good shot. On lawn 6, Matthew Essick is still going round. It looks like he's peeled Harry through hoop 1, so the British pair are now 2 and 4 back. And on the other lawn, Jack has gone round 4th turn, and now they're just laying up. Debbie safely through 2 back, and black was deep, so she doesn't have a longish return roquet. So I expect we might be getting a diagonal spread out of this. Yes, that's a good shot. Black quite close to the peg, getting a rush on yellow across. Yellow will now probably be sent back quite close to the peg, quite close to black. Because it makes the escape from when black gets positioned much easier. Yeah, that's a good shot, nicely on blue. Nice distance to approach from. She'd like to get a forward rush out of here. It's not absolutely necessary, but it does make the remaining shots easier, and you're more likely to get a good tight diagonal spread because you can get closer to black. And she's run past it slightly, so now she's going to have to roll up. Which makes it a lot more difficult to get black positioned, so it's wired from blue. Yeah, the danger now being this distance apart is you always knock black out of position. Oh, that was good, very gentle. Now she's aiming to position black so that black can't see blue. This at times can be a very difficult shot because you're trying to move black 4 or 5 inches, and it's so easy to hit it too hard and it pops out the other side of the peg, or you actually don't hit it hard enough and it stays open on blue. That's pretty good. That was the bell for lunch, so I wouldn't be surprised if after this they stop for lunch. And all 3 games, there's almost the same position having a diagonal spread. Yeah, Jack has gone round, left a diagonal spread, but actually a reverse diagonal spread where the blue and black are up by hoop 2. And Matthew's about to lay an ordinary diagonal spread on lawn 6. So we have almost the same leave in all 3 games simultaneously. And David Warhurst has run the lunch bell again. On lunch duty today is my wife, Liz Williams, or as many of you in the croquet will have known her when she was manager of the CA, Liz Larson. Oh, and Debbie's a bit short there. She's given a rush to hoop 1 rather than a rush to blue and black. Right, the game on lawn 6, they are stopping for lunch. Yeah, I think they might all be stopping for lunch, yeah? Yep, the good Mulliner game has stopped. Yep, so they've all stopped for lunch, so we'll stop now and take a break. Probably be back in about half an hour.